Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC Television. Good evening and welcome to the news. My name is Daphne Zainab Kamara. Coming up in this edition, China supports Sierra Leone with 30 garbage collection trucks. Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture tells the Commission of Inquiry that payments of monies for supply of fertilizer and certain consignments purported to have been supplied in 2016 are fictitious. Transparency International Sierra Leone launches a new report titled Land Acquisition Workflow Platform. And Sierra Leone Roads Authority pays over 700 million loans as backlog to former aggrieved workers of the MSF construction company. Well, all these stories and more lined up in this edition of News Hour. Stay with us. News Hour tonight. Transparency International Sierra Leone has, under its Land and Corruption in Africa project, launched a land acquisition workflow platform. The website, which is www.landtransparency.sierraleone, is to enable people know the processes and procedures involved in acquisition of land in the country, with the sole aim of combating corruption in the land sector. The launching of the workflow platform took place at the Grassroots Gender Empowerment Movement Hall, John Street in Freetown. Sheikh Sumaila reports.
The Land and Corruption in Africa project is implemented in more than 10 countries in Africa, funded by Transparency International headquarters in Berlin, Germany. The project aims at combating corruption in land issues on the continent by ensuring that people get adequate information on land, says Adinike Temple of Transparency International Sierra Leone. She said that the workflow platform was adopted after a baseline survey which indicated that many people do not have the requisite information on processes and procedures involved in land acquisition, which gives room to corruption. Executive Director of Ford Sierra Leone, Charles Koba, who chaired the launching ceremony, said land issues are very essential and therefore the system needs to be properly regulated to mitigate conflict. Deputy Director of Systems and Processes Review, Anti-Corruption Commission, Patrick Martin George, said the ACC is aware of the challenges in the land sector. The reason the Commission has undertaken a systems review in the Ministry of Land, where all the potential risks of corruption have been identified to better the system for effective and efficient service delivery. He commended Transparency International for the workflow platform, as citizens and even investors will now be adequately informed on happenings in the land sector. Deputy Director of Geographic Information System, Ministry of Lands, Jobo Samba, spoke on how the new land policy will help address the many challenges in the sector. He, however, admitted that most of the laws on land in the country are outdated and suggested the need for review. He explained how land is acquired in Freetown and the provinces, tenure rights, and how land is acquired by non-citizens for investment. He commended Transparency International for the workflow platform through the website www.landtransparency.sl. Program Manager, Transparency International, Edward Kroma, said lack of information on land tenure, lack of participation by land-owning communities in negotiations, absence of efficient and corruption oversight, and restriction mechanism in the land sector are among reasons for the workflow platform.
The land in the provinces, we know, belong to land-owning families. And the chiefs are there as custodians of the land. So if you want to consult, the chiefs, yes, are representing the people, but the people must be consulted. They should be in the know. They should know about the transaction. They should know the arrangements. you know, and so that when these people come and start operations, we will not see situations where the companies are in conflict with the communities. Because most of the time the people are not well consulted in terms of these arrangements. That is the more reason why when these companies will start operations, you will see them in conflict with the community, like the Samaland area, and even in communities where people will set fire. You know?
He said that through the website www.landtransparency.sl, citizens and non-citizens will be updated on land issues in the country, as adequate and timely information will be provided, and that it could be used to lodge complaints that could be forwarded to the Ministry of Land and other relevant authorities. Reporting for SLBC News, I'm Sheikh Usmaila.
The Director General at the Ministry of Agriculture has said that payments of monies for supply of fertilizer and certain consignments purported to have been supplied in 2016 are fictitious. Amara Haidara Sharif was testifying in the ongoing Commission of Inquiry Room 2 before Justice Bankole Thompson as witness number 2. Patrick Salia was there.
Sharif, a crop, livestock and plantation specialist with 36 years experience, whose written statement made to the State Council on earlier this February tendered to the Commission as Exhibit Y, was Deputy Chief Agricultural Officer before attaining his new post since 1st June 2018, succeeding Abdulrahman Sanko. 30 out of the 36 years Amara told the Commission has been at the Ministry of Agriculture and rose through the ranks. As the Chief Agricultural Officer, he is charged with coordination and supervision of projects in various districts. His predecessor, Mr. Sanko, served as Chief Agricultural Officer from 2008 to 2018. Asked by lead State Counsel Robert Kuwa whether he was aware of any purchasing of fertilizer, the witness recalled MPK 151515 was procured in 2016, but that he was not part of the procurement process.
The purpose was to give to farmers to improve the fertility of the soil, which is expected to increase agricultural production and to improve agricultural productivity.
A fertilizer contract, he went further, was taken to him for his signature in the absence of his boss, Mr. Sanko, between 2014 to 2015. The contract was 156,000 leones per 50 kilograms bag, which according to him was over 2 times the prevailing market price at the time. Because of the discrepancy in price, Amara Haidara Sharif refused to sign the contract and asked that the said documents be kept until his boss returned.
Between 2014 and 2016, the market price for MPK 151515, urea 46%, was going for about 200,000 per 50 kg bag. The same goes for MPK 02020.
Fertilizer MPK 020-2020, he also recalled, was procured in November 2016, but feedbacks generated from farmers through the district agricultural offices showed the fertilizer was not in the farmers' best interest compared to MPK 2020-2020. He explained the difference between the two types of fertilizers to the Commission.
The MPK 2020-20 should be more expensive because it has all the 3 components of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, unlike the 02020, which lacks nitrogen.
Fertilizer, according to the CW2, is either supplied by the district offices or national headquarters, and noted that the fertilizer procured by the Ministry of Agriculture was not for sale, but rather for loan to farmers for 25 kilograms bag of seed rice per each 50 kilograms bag of fertilizer. Asked whether a soil sample was done before the procurement, Haidara Sharif responded that the last time a soil sample was conducted nationwide was in 1979, so the purchasing of such quantity of fertilizer for him was not prudent.
The ideal thing to do is to have a general soil survey to determine the levels of the various nutrients which inform the fertilizer requirements. Now, the ministry failed to conduct such soil survey. Do you think it was prudent for purchasing such quantity of fertilizer? No. it was not prudent. It was like putting the cart before the horse.
Lansana Dumbuya is representing persons of interest Joseph Samsise, Professor Monty Jones, Ali Mansare, Lowell Thomas, and Marie M. Jallo, who were former ministers and deputy ministers of agriculture. He objected to the technical opinion of the witness without prior notice to him on the other side of the bench to enable him seek another expert's opinion, do a proper cross-examination. He said the integrity of his clients is at stake. But lawyer Kowa responded that because the witness had long been served, his testimony will in no way prevent the defense from seeking same, especially when he made it clear in the last hearing that such a witness will be furnishing the inquiry with facts and opinions. Lawyer Kowa compared the expert's opinion to that of the official from the Auditor General's office the previous day, who did the same. The Commissioner Justice Bankole Thompson overruled the objection on the basis that parties to the matter who have been served ahead of the hearing should have best prepared themselves.
Parliament has adopted the UN resolution on women, peace and security agenda. The resolution, among other things, aims to uplift the status of women. The motion was moved by Honorable Veronica Kadisise, President of the Parliamentary Female Caucus. The UN resolution on women, peace and security is a call for action for women's empowerment, promotion and protection. Ibrahim Samura reports.
The UN resolution on women, peace and security is a call for action for women's empowerment, promotion and protection. SLPP's Honorable Dixon Regis said the resolution is not a controversial one as it will help to uplift the status of Sierra-Leonean women devoid of their political affiliation. Honorable Daniel Kuroma of the APC said, as chairman of the Legislative Committee, he will support the adoption of any resolution that protects women. He called on the female caucus to push for the review of chieftains' institutions, especially in the north, and for women to own their own property.
We men should respect women. Even our very security depends on our women in our house. Believe me, a woman can decide to finish a man today, just only a trickle of an eye. But here we are telling women in our homes, "I'm not getting your money, SO2, I'm not getting your money today." Where are you expecting that woman to get that food money to support the kids? And Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the struggle women are having in those, I am not sure if we the men are having those type of struggles. All we do is to give job money every morning before we leave the house. How the home is taken care of, we don't know. You come home, there is food on the table, your bed is fixed, everything is prepared. It will take just one woman to change your life, Mr. Speaker. How right as your president? How right to have the right to vote? But nevertheless, they are still denied the right to be voted for. I'm talking of penalties, settlements, and bounties. There is no reason why the senior source should remain as way. And I encourage the legal caucus to push. We are ready to push. To make sure if there is nothing in the Defense Act maybe there is nothing that forbids them. Maybe. If there is nothing that forbids them, we will help you to insert a provision by way of amendment or by way of repeal and replacement of that Defense Act that mandates permission and authorization of all female aspirants in the north and borough as it is in the southeast to make sure they have the right to be voted for.
APC's Honorable Rose Marie Bengura and Deputy President of the Parliamentary Female Caucus underscored the importance and benefit of the agenda towards women's empowerment. Honorable Rose Marie Bengura said the agenda calls for action to address issues affecting women. Meanwhile, lawmakers also ratified the Utility and Grid Infrastructure and Electricity Supply Agreement between government and the Danish Powership. The two agreements were led by the Minister of Energy, Halaji Kanjasise. According to the agreements, the Powership will provide power for the western area for 2 years.
We are pleased to inform you, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, that the committee has successfully renegotiated the agreement and made the following substantial changes. 1. Reduce the tariff to 16.4 cents from the original tariff of 19.59 cents negotiated by the previous government. This represents an annual savings of approximately $9 million per year and is competitive in comparison to similar car power projects in Ghana and the Gambia, which have either longer durations and or larger contracted capacity. 2. We have reduced the contracted available capacity for which ESA is obligated to pay, whether or not the power is distributed, particularly for the rainy season, when Bumbuna Hydro, the least cost option, is at full capacity of 50 megawatts.
Honorable Kekura Vande, on as chairman Energy Committee, supported the ratification of the agreement, stating that electricity is key in any nation's development.
We are saving, the present regime is saving $9 million out of this contract every year. If we are sincere to this country, we must be proud of that, saving $9 million every year. Of course, we quite agree. The initial contractual period was 5 years. It has been reduced to 2 years. Because of 1 or 2 reasons. Maybe if you are interested, you know. And these 2 years, virtually we are going to save $18 million. Honorable members, we are talking of our welfare. When we have more money in the coffers, we expect our welfare to be increased or to be, of course, to be addressed.
APC's Abdul Karim Kamara and Abdul Kabu said the previous government should also be commended for first signing the agreement in 2018. They said the energy sector has gone through several reforms and called on the Speaker to be giving them more time to study agreements before they are debated. Also in Parliament, 6 presidential nominees were approved by lawmakers. 3 of the nominees are to serve as members of Statistics Sierra Leone Council, 2 members Board of Trustees NARCITS, and Ismond Nathaniel Gakwe as the new Director of Public Prosecutions. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
The Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Anthony Sandi, has described sexual violence against women and girls as extreme manifestation of gender inequality and systematic gender-based discrimination. He made the statement during a one-day symposium and dialogue with stakeholders and civil society on the Presidential Declaration of Emergency on Sexual Violence and Rape. The events took place at the Atlantic Hall of the National Stadium. Joseph Stanley reports.
The Civil Society on Reproductive, Maternal, Newborn, Child and Adolescent Health and Nutrition Coalition comprises of over 50 registered CSOs and NGOs to promote campaign on every woman, every child to end preventable maternal and child deaths by 2030 organized the meeting. According to the Deputy Minister of Health, sexual violence against women and children is the most pervasive violation of human rights at global level, but that unfortunately is one of the least prosecuted crimes. He added that this serves as the greatest threat to lasting peace and development, and stressed the need for concerted efforts to ensure that human rights, gender equality and common values of humanity are achieved and maintained. The Deputy Health Minister said data presented on rape and sexual violence is unfortunate and unacceptable.
As a nation, to see our women, girls and children below 6 months old being abused by irresponsible men. The time for complacency is over. The silence of sexual violence against women and children has been broken, and now is the time for stronger action. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, under the due direction, His Excellency the President, retired Brigadier Julius Madam, declared a national emergency on rape and sexual violence.
The right of women and children to live free of violence, Dr. Sandi said, depends on the protection of their human rights and a strong chain of justice. He encouraged civil society coalition to partner with all MDs and other partners in the fight, as government alone cannot do it. A representative of the Director of Public Prosecution, Magistrate Adrian Fisher, told civil society activists that sexual violence and rape are offenses that need action for it to be minimized, as victims are always depressed and vulnerable. The Director of Gender and Children's Affairs in the Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, Charles Vandy, described the increase in rape and sexual violence as serious and alarming, and that the declaration of President Bio will reinforce action taken by the ministry. He said for the past years they have been engaging communities and service providers about their responsibilities, especially to be part of the national response to save the lives of innocent women and children. The Reproductive, Maternal, Newborn, Child and Adolescent Health and Nutrition Coalition lead, who is also the Executive Director of Health Alert, Victor Lansana-Kuruma, said the coalition will promote and disseminate the Answer of Our Girls campaign and President Bio declaration to citizens through sensitization and awareness raising, among others.
It's essentially to hear from the policymakers, stakeholders sitting here, by way of committing themselves, and also to tell us how do we take His Excellency's policy statement into action, and what are the challenges that it might take. What are the long terms? What are the immediate terms? What are the short terms? We know very well some of them have to take some couple of time to fix, but which are the ones that we think we can address now?
In his contribution, the Chairman, National Council of Civic Education and Development, Kalilu Tutange, referred to the meeting as a step in the right direction, but noted that compromise is a serious barrier to eradicate or minimize rape and sexual violence against women and children. Other stakeholders commended government and partners for the bold step to reduce the burden posed on victims and stressed the need to discourage compromise.
The government of Hungary has opened its honorary consulate at an inauguration ceremony held at Spor Road in Freetown. The move, according to the Hungarian ambassador resident in Ghana, Andras Zabo, is to further deepen the economic and bilateral ties between the two countries. Ambassador Zabo presented Jihad Etta as the new Hungarian honorary consul to Sierra Leone. Ibrahim Samura reports.
Discussions of opening a Hungary consulate office in the country began in 2017, and in January 2019, the current Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Ali Kaba signed the diplomatic agreement which facilitates the official inaugural of the consulate office under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade Industry of the Hungary government. The event was graced by the diplomatic corps, government officials and business community. According to Ambassador Andras Sabo, the move to open Hungarian embassies and consulate offices in Africa is part of the Hungary government's Africa policy in 2015 that recognized the great potentials of the African continent. He said in 2017 he presented letters of credentials to the then government. Ambassador Sambo said its consulate office in the country will further strengthen political, trade and economic ties. He identified education, agriculture, technology, water and waste management as possible areas of the Hungary government interventions to complement the drive of the New Direction agenda. Senior Permanent Secretary and in charge of Asia and the Middle East, Sir Johnny, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation thanked the Hungary government for accepting to open a consulate office in the country. The move by the Hungary government, he went on, is a demonstration of its government commitment to enhance political, economic and trade ties. The Hungarian consulate to Sierra Leone, Jihad Enta, said he is pleased to work in the country and complement government's development agenda as demonstrated during the Ebola outbreak, where they supported the government with medical and other foodstuffs. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
government, through the Sierra Leone Roads Authority, has paid over 700 million loans as backlogs to former aggrieved workers of the MSF construction company. The company was contracted by the then government to construct the Moyamba Junction to Moyamba Town Road, funded by the European Union. The contract was terminated for poor performance by the SLRA. The payment was done at the Moyamba Junction, where beneficiaries converged to collect their money. Ibrahim Samura witnessed the payment and now reports.
100 of these aggrieved workers of the former MSF construction company were paid. The money was provided by the government through the SLRA. According to the aggrieved workers, the MSF company owed them for over 5 months, which has led workers to stage several strikes action. This has prevented the CSA construction company, the newly contracted company, to continue with the road construction project from Moyamba Junction to the Moyamba town. The Deputy Minister of Works and Public Assets, Melrose Cabo, told the aggrieved workers that government intervened because President Bio's administration is a listening government. She apologized to the CSA construction company for the behavior of the former workers of MSF for blocking them and appealed to them to continue their work. Madam Cabo frowned at the behavior of the workers, noting that strikes are not the right way to seek solution to their plights. She admonished them to work in line with the vision of the new direction, which she said aims at transforming the country and promoting human capital development.
We inherited this problem from the past regime, and according to the sources, it's over 2 years. And because we are a responsible government and President Bio has put the people at the center of development, so we thought it fit that we have to listen to them. And also, we are a listening government. If the people are crying for something, you have to listen to them and work with them to find a solution. And that is exactly what this government and all the stakeholders did with this particular situation. It has not been easy. I mean, you had them saying when they started with this whole process with the past regime, they even lost somebody. Somebody lost his life.
The head of internal audit, SLRA Ibrahim Mustafa, said several meetings were held with the aggrieved workers to verify their documents, noting that they should present their identification cards or former pay slips. Commissioner of Labour John Calon lauded government for accepting to pay the aggrieved workers. He told them that the Labour Ministry has been championing their cause by engaging the line ministries and the Legal Aid Board to ensure that their monies are paid. Local authorities, including the Honourable Member of Constituency 096, Simeon Fefekula, appreciated government, noting that MSF Construction Company left the district without paying the workers. Speaking on behalf of the aggrieved workers, Mohamed Will thanked the government and President Bio for being sensitive to their plights. The 31-kilometer road project stretches from Moyamba Junction to Moyamba Town, and CSA is the new contractor following the termination of the contract of MSF. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
Well, in case you've just joined us, you're watching News Hour coming to you live on SLBC Television in Freetown. My name is Daphne Zainab Kamara. President Julius Maada Bio has commissioned 30 garbage collection trucks provided by the People's Republic of China. The support, according to President Bio, will help his government deal with the critical issue of solid waste management across the country, especially in Freetown. The commissioning, which took place at State House, attracted mayors, district council chairmen and government ministers. Hawa Mosire reports.
Commissioning the garbage trucks, President Julius Maada Bio disclosed that one of the very first directives of his government requires citizens to use part of the first Saturday of each month to clean their immediate environs. The rationale for the monthly cleaning was that he recognized the past government never bothered to put in place a functional and effective waste management policy, especially for urban areas. His administration, he said, also realized that the under-controlled dumping of garbage had been associated for years with increased disease outbreak and death, especially from malaria, typhoid, cholera, and diarrhea.
On behalf of the people of this country and the government, let me, Mr. Ambassador, kindly transmit our collective gratitude to the government and people of the People's Republic of China. This valuable strategic partnership continues to reinforce the strong ties of friendship between our two countries. This intervention helps my government deal with the critical issue of solid waste collection and management. One of the first directives of my government requires citizens to use part of the first Saturday of each month to clean their immediate environment.
President Bio stated that the evaluated risks of urban flooding, property loss, and deaths during the rainy season, as the unsanitary placement of landfills and the unregulated public burning of garbage also posed health and environmental hazards to citizens. When he was elected, according to President Bio, he made a commitment that every Sierra Leonean life matters.
I made a commitment that the most valuable resource we have as a nation is the human capital. To enrich and develop human capital, we must invest in feeding the brain through free quality education and skills training, the stomach through food security, and take care of the whole body through investing in and providing access to quality health care, water, public sanitation, disease prevention, primary health care, and health education. These 30 garbage collection trucks that I commissioned today, we have the government and the people of Sierra Leone to plan for and implement a sustainable waste collection management plan, especially for the urban areas of this country.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Anthony Brewer told the gathering that last year the People's Republic of China offered a grant of $1.5 million for garbage collection trucks in order to mitigate the real problem of urban waste management. The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development also commended the People's Republic of China for their support. The Chinese ambassador to Sierra Leone, Wong Pen, stated that the trucks provided are not only for the purpose of supporting the monthly cleaning exercise, but also to clear the garbage on the streets regularly.
I believe working together with a well-shot preparation and the necessary training program for the drivers and operators, these 30 trucks will soon appear on the street of Freetown and other areas of this country to work efficiently for the better future of Sierra Leone. Let me say of this, I regard myself also a temporary resident of Freetown. I noticed very clear after His Excellency launched the National Cleaning Day, this city became beautiful, cleaner day by day.
Chairman, Government Infrastructure John Edward Tambi noted that cleanliness, health and sanitation are very important to the lives of citizens. Mayor of Freetown Municipality, Ivan Akisoya, also thanked the People's Republic of China for the great support. In another development, the regional director of the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, Mabingu Gom, has paid courtesy call on President Julius Maada Bio at State House. The regional director stated that his organization was very supportive in the 2015 housing and population census. He thanked the president for the bold step taken for the declaration of the emergency on rape and sexual violence. President Julius Maada Bio commended the regional chairman and team for the support they have been rendering to the government and the people of Sierra Leone. His administration, he told the UNFPA team, has taken human capital development very seriously, the reason his government has introduced the free quality education. After the declaration of state of emergency on rape and sexual violence, last week, the Law Reform Office is working on the legal instrument to be ratified in Parliamentary added. President Bio appealed to the regional director of the UNFPA for more technical support in minimizing sexual and gender-based violence in the country. Also at State House, the Director of Public Prosecution, Ismo Nathaniel Bleden Gakwi, subscribed to the oath of office before President Julius Maada Bio at State House in Freetown. SABC TV News are in Freetown. How must we reporting?
The outgoing Director General of the National Minerals Agency has done an official handing over to the new Director General. The handing over was done at the enemy headquarters in Freetown.
Since its establishment in 2013, the National Minerals Agency has been seen as the engine to move the economy of the country to its desired goal. The outgoing Director General, Sawunde, in his address said he resigned voluntarily, noting that during his 6 years as head of the agency, there has been some successes and challenges. He called on the new Director General to take robust actions, especially in financial discipline of the institution and compliance by mining companies. Sawunde congratulated his successor and pledged his unrelenting support to the agency whenever he is called upon.
You have to support the minister, you have to be the gatekeeper, you have to make sure that if an application doesn't meet the requirements, it doesn't get to him for signature or to the Minerals Advisory Board. Unfortunately, there were lapses in the system. The 2009 predated the NMA Act. I wasn't sitting on the Minerals Advisory Board, but that has to change. And I'm now handing over my notes. I've prepared some notes for you to guide you in this process, but please feel free to call on me at any time. Thank you.
The new Director General National Minerals Agency, Julius Matai, in his statement lauded his predecessor for a job well done. He said he will work assiduously with every staff in his institution to transform the mining sector and call on them to live up to the mandate of the agency.
And I firmly believe it's worth it for us to spend something, as long as it can be justified and adding value to what we do. I'm all for it. As we have on the website, accountability, transparency, objectivity. I didn't put them there. They are there. Our values, let's imbibe them. I'll run this up by saying, all our desires or emotions are actually driven by our desires, and our desires are driven by our values by our principles. I will make every effort to understand your value system.
The Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Dr. Mori Manye, buttressed the need for effective and efficient output by staff of the agency and to give their unrelenting support to the new Director General. SLBC News, Joseph Toure, Freetown.
The National Youth Commission has held a 2-day staff retreat to foster good working relationship and brainstorm on how to improve the status of the Commission. Doreen Barry reports.
Having set aside 2019 as a time to mobilize more resources, the National Youth Commission organized a 2-day retreat for staff to reflect and develop new ideas and activities to attract more donor funds. It is expected of the staff to critically discuss issues affecting the welfare and also finalize the draft staff manual, which will serve as a framework for the effective outputs. The National Youth Commissioner, Golo Kata, said that the staff retreat was designed to discuss internal issues, instill a strong impression of integrity, transparency, and proper ways to mobilize resources. He said that the Commission will introduce new measures to prevent waste of resources and facilities. He called on the staff to be accountable and to judiciously use the properties provided for them to do the work of the Commission. Mr. Golokati said that plans are underway to motivate staff by providing the required support to do their work effectively and efficiently.
To also understand clearly, the internal processes of the Commission as we move along in a new dispensation, and to also understand a set of policy issues that we genuinely want to carry forward in the Commission.
The Human Resource Manager of the National Youth Commission said that the staff retreat is expected to create a platform for staff to critically discuss their welfare and the work of the Commission.
A 21-day prayer and fasting by the body of Christ is almost coming to an end. The purpose of the fasting and prayers is to help Sierra Leoneans change their attitude in the areas of minimizing corruption, violence, and other forms of illegal activities. Rose Konima Stevens reports.
Sierra Leone has been grappling with exploitation, corruption, injustice, lawlessness, sexual violence, among others. In a bid to change the negative aspects, Revival Labour Prayer Group, together with the Body of Christ, will converge at the National Stadium on Friday, 22nd of February, to climax the 21 days of fasting and prayer for the country.
The Lord instructed us as a nation to be having 21 days of fasting and prayer. One, to repent on behalf of the nation and the church, and also to ask God to restore, our economy and the glory that has departed from our country. So we started doing that since last year, and last year it coincided with the general elections. And everybody knows that it was because of the prayer that was held last year that God gave us a peaceful general elections. And today we are seeing things are changing. We are seeing that ungodly practices, there are issues that have been affecting this nation for, over decades, and, God by his, in his own mercy, has started bringing some of these structures down, for him to restore his glory.
The National Coordinator, Revival Labour Prayer Group, Pastor Francis Mambu, is not only passionate about raising leaders with integrity and committed Christian workers that will represent the country at any given opportunity, but is also one of the most successful agriculturists. To achieve the venture, Pastor Francis Mambu said, a training of God's agents of transformation discipleship is in place to equip the law sector, business people, and the civil service in order to affect the lives of others in society.
The goal of the training is for us to see, one, lives being transformed, and not only the transformation of that life, but that life will now be able to touch other lives around. And we also want to see disciples being raised in every sector of the government in the country. Because it is only when we have people who are representing Christ in all, all areas of government that we now begin to talk about integrity, uprightness, and development in the country.
At the end of the training, the aspects of corruption and other crimes will be minimized to foster national development and also give knowledge that will prepare the individual to be able to share the gospel at home and abroad. For SLBC News, Rose Konima Stevens.
It's now time for some news around Africa. Nigerians are preparing to vote on Saturday's presidential election. It has been a busy few months for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), which is charged with organizing the polls in Africa's most populous country. INEC has been delivering election materials to all corners of the vast country, dealing with attacks on some of their officers and facing accusations that the vote will not be free and fair. Senegal's government has condemned calls for violence by President Abdoulaye Wade, who claims the presidential poll scheduled for later this month is rigged in favor of the incumbent Macky Sall. The government says calls by the 92-year-old former leader for people to attack polling stations and burn their voter cards and electoral rolls are irresponsible and subversive. Mr. Wade, who lives in France, returned to Dakar last week after his son was barred from standing in the poll due to a corruption conviction. As a result, his party, Senegalese Democratic Party (PDS), does not have a presidential candidate. And Ugandan police say the head of telecommunications company MTN Uganda, a unit of South Africa's MTN Group, has been deported for national security reasons. The company's chief executive, Wim Valaputi, was put on a plane to his native Belgium on Wednesday evening. There's been no official explanation. Last month, 3 foreign nationals working for MTN Uganda were also deported. And now for the entertainment news. Sierra Leonean Hollywood actor Idris Elba proved he was the perfect gentleman for Valentine's Day as he surprised his fiancée. And also in Sierra Leone, popular composer, songwriter and singer Aruna Wahid Dumbuya, popularly known as Wahid the Tindem, tied a knot this week. For more on these stories, let's join our entertainment desk, Mohammed King Milan Bangura and Millicent Lunge.
No matter what happens down there, I can't bring none of that.
The 46-year-old Sierra Leonean Hollywood actor Idris Elba proved he was the perfect gentleman for Valentine's Day on Thursday as he surprised his fiancée Sabrina Dari at Heathrow Airport. Idris first grabbed a coffee before heading to the arrivals terminal, patiently waiting for Sabrina, who looked thrilled by the romantic gesture. Their reunion comes after Sabrina was forced to deny that their pair had wedded in secret, after the Luther star Idris Elba posted a video to his Instagram account calling the model his wife. But she spoke to the Metro to confirm that our wedding is coming up soon and I'm really looking forward to it.
It's easy, very easy. I won't say anything.
Is it? Okay.
Idris first met Sabrina, former Miss Vancouver, in her home country of Canada in 2017 and became acquainted on the set of the drama film The Mountain Between Us. Speaking about the early days of their relationship, Idris told People magazine, "Falling in love while making a movie about falling in love is pretty special." They walked the red carpet together for the first time at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival for the screening of the film Police Game, which Idris starred in. The actor asked his other half to marry him in February last year during a screening for his film, Yadi.
I was at the cast and crew screening for my film Yadi. I was amongst people I loved. I just was like, I'm doing it now. Right now. Here, right today. So, yeah, you know, it was quite a public affair.
There was a quiet engagement this week that was between two popular personalities in their own rights. The popular composer, songwriter and singer Aruna Wahid Dumbuya, better known as Wahid Tinde, got engaged to one of Sierra Leone's youngest chief superintendent of police and head of
Well, it's now time for the sports update. We go over to Esther Marie Samura.
Good evening and welcome to a sports update on News Hour. In this edition, the Sierra Leone Cricket Association, in collaboration with the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, has organized a week cricket coaching course level 1. The coaching course, which is ongoing at the Sailing Police Kingdom, with the theme increasing cricket participation at all levels of the game. Here is the report.
The coaching course is geared towards providing new skills that will build on each participant's experiences to do new things and to keep sessions active and new during trainings. Over 40 participants from across the country are actively involved in the process. Cricket Development Officer, Sierra Leone Cricket Association South, Salia Kamsi Kamara, who also doubles as the course coordinator, said this training will help in enhancing the coaching skills of some of the participants. He noted that after the completion of the training, the participants are expected to implement what they've learned.
Well, this coaching course is all about letting the grassroots coaches to know more about cricket development and also to ensure the game is spread out and the method of coaching and the skills we acquire to coach kids. The participants were drawn from all over the country. We have coaches from the schools, clubs, and also from the regions.
The head coach of the national female cricket team, Sarah Johnson, said the training course has increased her knowledge on the various techniques and further that this training will be used as a range of ways to help them reflect on their own skills.
First of all, I've learned how to plan before you go for the session. Or before you just come in the morning and say, take up your, let's exercise, and then you start to do the exercise. But now you have to plan from your house, the session that you want to take for the next day. Then, after the planning, then you demonstrate to the athletes what you want them to do. After demonstration, then you allow them to do what you have demonstrated. Then they ask questions. After asking the questions, then you evaluate them. After you evaluate them, then you ask for any injury. So we learned also to prepare a chart for them. So all the mistakes that they have been doing, you record them in the chart, so that after the end of the session, that is when you go to improve the player bit. Or even if not after the session, but if they have a competition, to select players to go for the competition.
The coaching course is expected to end on Saturday. Esther Marisa Mora, SLBC.
And exciting fixtures lined up in the Sierra Leone Premier League as tomorrow at the approved school. Port Authority will be locking arms with Anti-Drugs Football Club, and Eastern Tigers will take on mighty Blackpool at the Lunge Central Field. At the Parade Grounds in Freetown, Central Parade will play host to Cowboy Eagles of Kenema. And Eastern Lions will host Bo Rangers at the Siaka Stevens Stadium in Freetown. Diamond Stars will play host to FC Cologne at the Connaught Town Field in Connaught. And on Sunday, Old Edwardians FC will lock arms with Freetown City Football Club. That's all for sports tonight. I am Esther Maisamwa. Thanks for watching.
Sports desk, we end news hour for tonight. To end the news, the main points again. China has supported Sierra Leone with 30 garbage collection trucks. Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture has told the Commission of Inquiry that payments of monies for supply of fertilizer and certain consignments purported to have been supplied in 2016 are fictitious. Transparency International Sierra Leone has launched a new report titled Land Acquisition Workflow Platform. And the Sierra Leone Roads Authority has paid over 700 million leones as backlog to former aggrieved workers of the MSF Construction Company. Well, that's the end of the news. My name is Daphne Zainab Kumar. Thanks for watching. Good night. Have a blessed weekend.
Coming up this Tuesday, the new anti-corruption